And welcome to my channel, Close to the Edge. My name is Pat, where we talk about all things prog rock, classic rock, heavy rock, and maybe Glenn, maybe rock. Mario in Canada from the basement. He has a brilliant channel over there, and he's on my channel today because Charles Walls came up with this idea. One of my subscribers in the last video in the comments. How about the late 60s, maybe 65 to 69, do a video on it? And I was thinking, yeah, that'd be very interesting. But I'm not a 60s guy, really. Mine is 70s and onwards. I have stuff from the 60s, all right. Who better to get than Glen Kellaway? Because he lived it. And that's very important.
Yeah, I'm old.
Isn't that true, Glenn?
Yeah. That's my sweet spot for music. Is 65 to 70, I would say, was what really just.
That's your sweet spot, yes. And also,
I grew up with it.
So you would have bought a lot of the albums. You would have bought a lot of the albums that you're
as they were
talking
coming out.
about here
all
tonight.
Of these, everything I'm going to show.
And you would have seen a lot of the bands live.
Lots. I'll mention it as I go along, a few of them.
Please do, please do. So what we're going to do is we're going to go from 65 to 69, Glenn. Glenn will go first. So he'll do 65, then me back and forth. We end up with 69. And these are must-have albums in our collection. So don't be giving out to any of the two of us in the comments if we don't mention certain albums. First of all, we mightn't have them in our collection, or we might think they're must-haves, basically. More than likely, they're probably not in our collection because Glenn, like me, got rid of a lot of albums down through the years, didn't we, Glenn?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. Awful story. Unfortunately. So, Glenn, 1965.
So, do you want me just to show? We're going to show one each back and forth. Or you want me to show everything I got from 65?
Everything from 65.
Okay.
Everything from 65.
All right. Well, from February 1964 up until, whatever. As a teenager, the Beatles were it for me. There was nothing else on earth but the Beatles. And so 65, one of my favorite Beatles album came out, and that would be Help. And that's also the movie, which I went to the show and saw about 4,000 times. It's one of my favorite movies still. But the title track, Help, Hey, You've Got to Hide Your Love Away, one of my favorite Beatles songs, Ticket to Ride, I've Just Seen a Face. It's just chock full of great songs. So that is one of my all-time favorite.
Is that the mono version?
That's
the mono version.
I do have the mono though. That's the stereo, and that is the UK version.
Mono. Oh, stereo. Sorry.
In North America, it came out as a soundtrack album. So a lot of the songs weren't on our version of Help. It had. The start of it was the start of the James Bond theme, and then it went into the song Help, and then it was all George Martin instrumentals interspersed with the songs from
the film. Yeah,
it was a long time before I heard the Help album the way the Beatles intended. I've got two other albums from 1965 that are essential, and they would be part of the Bob Dylan great trilogy of albums. Bringing It All Back Home, which came out early in 65, and then a little later, Highway 61. This is really when I got heavy into Dylan, because Like a Rolling Stone came out in 1965, which I consider the greatest single of all time, life-changing. And I immediately bought this album, Highway 61, which has Desolation Row on it. Just a great, great record. But the thing I noticed, because I had the 45 for Like a Rolling Stone, the B-side of that was Gates of Eden, which was not on this album. It was on this one. So then I went back after the fact and bought this one, which really is his first electric album. Side 2 is acoustic with Mr. Tambourine Man, Gates of Eden, but side 1 is really when he went electric with Subterranean Homesick Blues and Maggie's Farm and all the songs that he played at Newport with the Butterfield Blues Band. But they are my three essential albums from 1965.
Okay, Glenn, that's fantastic. I don't have any of those in my collection. Now, 1965 for me, Glenn, I know this is all studio albums. I don't even have a studio album from 1965 in my collection, but I have one live album. I don't know whether you've heard it before. John Mayall plays John Mayall. It's before their Blues Breakers album.
Oh.
Yes, it's one to work picking up. It's recorded in December 1964 and then released in 65 in London. And what they did is recorded at, I can't even read it without my glasses. Okay. But it's absolutely brilliant. But what they did is the Decca Studios were two blocks down, and they ran the wire out from the place they were playing in down to the Decca Studio, so they recorded the album.
Wow. Now, who was playing with them on those recordings? Was that Peter Green then, or
no? That's not Peter Green. No. There's a chap called Roger Dean on guitar, not the Roger Dean.
Not the artist.
Not the artist. And I should have my Roger, and I tell you who else is on it. If I can read it here, Glenn. Huey Flint is on drums.
Okay.
He retired. Retired from drumming in 1981, I believe.
Yeah.
And you have, of course, on bass guitar, John McVie from went on with Fleetwood Mac.
He was with him then. Awesome.
Yeah. So that's recorded December 1964.
Wow, that's got to be a great blues album.
It's a great blues, and I had to buy that on import years and years and years ago. So that's the very first recording that John Mayall did, and there's some brilliant stuff on it.
Wow.
You know, a lot of covers on it, but brilliant. And I'd love to know if there was anyone here watching this video who was actually at this show in London in 64. I presume there would have been a few.
Yeah.
And hopefully
I didn't pull any John Mayall albums, but he needs a special award for being so important to introducing us to so many musicians. I mean, just, Mick Fleetwood or John McVie and Eric Clapton, Peter Green, Mick Taylor. Oh my God, that's the whole list of everybody.
Ainsley Dunbar played with him, who went on to play with Frank
Dunbar. Yeah. Amazing.
So many, brilliant. And what he did,
he introduced the world to some incredible artists.
A lot of people say about John, it's white blues, right? And his music is obviously based on the Mississippi Delta blues from America. But the UK bands, a lot of them were blues-based bands in the 60s. By them being so popular, they made the music then that people weren't listening to in America.
Yeah.
Popular. Because Jimi Hendrix had to come to London to get famous.
Yeah, that's right.
No one wanted him in America.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And they brought that to prominence, which I think is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Glenn, that's it. 1966 now. This should be interesting with yourself.
Okay, 66. What have I got? I got 3 albums from 66. I am going to start with what is probably considered rock's first double album would be Dylan's Blonde on Blonde, and the third album from that trilogy of albums that just, I mean, you think of the music he wrote from early 65 to 66. I mean, just who could do that?
Unbelievable, yeah.
And this is my favorite Bob Dylan album, an album that I bought when it came out. And the one thing that blew me away and my friends was the fact that he had one song that took up the whole side, Sad-Eyed Lady of the Lowlands. It was just unheard of for a rock song with lyrics.
No, absolutely
unheard of. Side of a record.
It's an album I must pick up, actually, Glenn.
So many hits off of this. Rainy Day Woman, Just Like a Woman, I Want You. My favorite Dylan song, Visions of Johanna's on this. I mean, just a brilliant album that he recorded in Nashville, Tennessee with all the country session guys, which was really weird too. And following on the footsteps of that, a couple of weeks later, Zappa's first album, The Mothers of Invention, Freak Out.
That's a double studio as well, yeah.
This is just out of this world, so different from anything else.
That's so original. You know something, Glenn? I believe, I know I might be wrong here, I believe that's where progressive rock started. That album.
Yeah.
I think that's
could
where
make a
it
good
kind of
argument.
started. Yeah. That's where a lot of them English bands would have heard that album and what Zappa was doing, because no one else was doing anything what he was doing.
No.
Nobody.
No. And he
Because
was really
when
taking the piss out
he
of
was taking the piss, but what happened
rock
was
music and hippies and whatever. You know, he didn't.
He wasn't a hippie, sure. He hated
No.
hippies. No, he hated hippies. But
No.
I was reading. I have his biography, and I was reading it. And the record company executives came along to see him. They were playing in San Francisco. What's that famous place in San Francisco?
The Fillmore, or
yeah, correct. They were playing in the Fillmore, and they were really excited because they've heard so much about Frank Zappa and the Mothers. And the man went to watch him, and they were playing blues music that night.
Yeah,
because they used to change it up every night. And he said, "Yeah, I'm going to sign these." Brilliant. Brought him in, and when they started recording their album, he said, "But that's not the music you play."
Yeah.
And Frank said, "No, that is the music we play."
That was Tom Wilson, who actually produced some of the early Dylan albums.
That's right.
Was sent to LA to sign some bands, and he was looking for a blues band, and
blues band. Yeah,
he heard these guys playing blues and went, "Oh, I got my blues band." And
he got his blues band, but he didn't realize what they were going to play on the first album.
Yeah, but then once they got in the studio and started doing this stuff, I mean, he jumped on board, so that was good. Yeah, amazing.
That's brilliant. That's a freak out.
And one more I want to mention, because now things are starting to get a little psychedelic here. This is when we're coming to that. Everything's changing, and Donovan was at the forefront of some of this stuff. The Sunshine Superman album from 1966 came out.
What's that album like? What kind of music is that?
Well, the song Sunshine Superman, I think everybody's familiar with, but it also has his probably best song, and the song that a lot of rock people covered was "Season of the Witch."
Oh yeah, I know that song.
Incredible song. That's on this album, but this is a really good album. Very trippy, excellent. One of my favorite albums from the '60s. So
that's a nice find. Yeah,
but excellent album. Donovan, very underrated.
Yeah, I know Frank Zappa mentions it in one of his songs. I can't remember the song. Donovan, the guy with the brocade coat. That's what Frank said about it.
That's my go-to 66.
Now I have two for 66. Now you've already shown this brilliant, amazing album. It's the CD. It's on a single CD. Of course, when I bought this first on CD, I never bought it on LP. I didn't realize it was a double album on LP, because you wouldn't. And Pure Class, we've already spoken about that. Pure Class. And my second album from 66, and it's the only other one, I was going to put in Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, but no, that's not a must-have album. I find that wicked boring. Wicked boring. I'm going to have to put in John Mayall and the Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton.
Perfect. Glad you did.
Yeah, that is the Beano album, as they call it over here.
Yeah.
It's pure class. Some of Eric Clapton's greatest playing is on this album.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to look back, like, if you're like you were around 62, do you hear this album in 66?
Well, the funny thing was, did you have the record clubs over there where you buy like 10 records for a penny, Columbia Records and all that stuff? They had them over here. They had these record clubs where if you signed up, you got 10 records for a penny. But then after that, every month you had to buy a record at full price. And in those days, when a record at the store was like $3, they charged you like $7 or something. So they made their money back over the long term.
Yeah,
but they got you hooked by giving you 10 records for a penny. And my aunt used to work at the factory where they produced these records. And she could steal the records, but not the covers. So she used to come home with records in just like the paper sleeve. And one of the records she came home with was John Mayall and the Blues Breakers. So I did hear that album pretty early on.
It was, and it must have blown you away, though, because the guitar work on it,
incredible.
Like, you have Stepping Out on that as well, haven't you? Instrumental track. Like, I know a lot
the funny thing was, though, like even when the Stones were doing Muddy Waters songs and old blues, I never looked at it as blues music. It was Like that was John Mayall's music. That was the Rolling Stones music. It wasn't until later that I went, oh no, there's all these black dudes.
He was so young. He's very young on that album, Clapton. I think he might be 19 or 20 on that album.
What's that?
Clapton, I think he was very young, 19 or 20 years of age on that album. And what a guitarist. Unique blues guitarist. Some of his best playing is on that. I don't think he's ever bettered it.
No, you could argue for sure.
No, he couldn't. Anyway, that's all I have for 66. I did mention Pet Sounds, but I don't think it's a must-have album.
I got one more for 66 that I forgot about.
Go on.
Rolling Stones, Beggar's Banquet.
Okay.
I know you're not a big Stones fan, but this album
I don't like it at all.
Damn good. And they moved away from kind of the blues, and they started playing like acoustic stuff on this. It's a very acoustic album, except for Street Fighting Man, which has a lot of actually acoustic guitar in it, believe it or not, and Sympathy for the Devil. Everything else is very rootsy, acoustic blues type stuff. And it's just this was a great album. And it came with this is the cover from North America. And I think the cover in Britain had the toilet on it. And then it got banned or something. We never saw that cover for years until the reissues came out. But I want to mention Rolling Stones too for 66.
Okay, Glenn. Thanks for that. Now, Glenn, 1967.
Oh, this is when everything changed. This is when I started high school. This is when everything started going crazy on me. So you mentioned, we both mentioned Freak Out. And I first heard Freak Out probably early to mid 67. And then, but the album that really got me, turned me into a huge Zappa fan, was Absolutely Free.
Okay, was that not brought out in 66?
That came out in May of 1967. A month before Sgt. Pepper. And once I heard Brown Shoes Don't Make It, that was it for me. Zappa fan. I saw him the next year. When I was 15, I saw him in a hall in Toronto.
And the Mothers, yeah. And the Mothers.
Yeah, the original Mothers. But it was way over my head. It was they're playing all this weird jazzy stuff and everything, and I'm a 15-year-old kid listening to it. I was just like, I didn't understand any of it, but it was cool that I saw them. Anyway, that's an important album for me. And of course, like everything just went nuts in 67. And Sgt. Pepper in June of 67 came out. This album was that Summer of Love, or what do they call it, is just like, this album was just everywhere. I mean, and I consider it the greatest album of all time because I think for recording techniques, people learned a lot. They were recording on 4-track and 8-track systems back then, and the Beatles were bouncing things back and forth, and just
using loops and everything on it.
The cover, putting printed lyrics on the album cover, everything. There's just so many reasons why this is just such an influential album.
Oh, extremely influential, yeah.
And of course, Jimi Hendrix Experience. Are You Experienced came out in 1967.
You see that album there?
I caught on to Jimmy really early because when I was started high school, a friend of mine, his brothers were over in England trying to get into the music business, and they actually ended up befriending people like Robert Plant and Cat Stevens before they were well known, when they were still struggling artists, and played with them. And anyway, they sent over a 45 to their younger brother of Jimi Hendrix's Hey Joe, and he played it for him for the whole class. The teacher let him bring a little record player in, and they played the record, and it was just like that was Jimi Hendrix. And then this album came out. So
see that album there, Glenn? That is one of the most influential albums of all time.
Huge. Yeah.
Like, that is so far ahead of its time.
Yeah, and still stands up.
Yeah, there was nothing around like that in 67, what he was doing. And he, of course, he had Noel Redding and Mitch Mitchell, two English drummer and English bass player on the album, because obviously he had to go to London and he played in the Marquee Club, and they all went nuts for him over in London, in England, and that fed back then into the States. Like, what an album. What an album.
Yeah. Crazy good. Another great album that was kind of same style, everything's going psychedelic, is Cream Disraeli Gears.
Yeah.
Eric Clapton, Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce, 3 superstar musicians getting together. It's like it might have been the first super group.
Possibly the group, yeah. And also, I think that's the best album, actually, that album.
Yeah. Sunshine of Your Love, Tales of Brave Ulysses. I mean, just it goes on and on.
Much better than their debut album.
And one of the great album covers of all time, too.
Yeah, brilliant. Very psychedelic, isn't it?
Yeah. And speaking of psychedelics, let's bring me on to that. That whole San Francisco scene was going on from 65, 66, but really didn't get that well known until 60. I mean, it was a vibrant scene, but internationally, I think until 67. And Jefferson Airplane were really the first band from San Francisco that signed a contract with a major label. Went to LA and recorded this. Jerry Garcia helped them with it. He's written down as a spiritual advisor because he couldn't play on, couldn't have his credit on the album. And I mean, this has White Rabbit on it. Somebody to Love. This album was a game changer for me. That introduced me to that whole scene down there, and there was a lot of experimenting going on. Trust me.
Yeah. Oh, I'd say there was.
And I think that's it for 67.
Okay, they're brilliant. Now, I'm Jefferson Airplane was never really into him, Glenn. Too kind of way out there for me. Even though I like Frank Zappa, you can't get any more way out there than Frank Zappa, I suppose. Right, 67. Debut album by Pink Floyd.
Oh, yeah, I should have pulled that.
Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Syd Barrett. You have the Gnome on this.
Another game changer.
Yeah, absolute. Interstellar Overdrive, totally different than what was out there. Pure psychedelic. Brilliant. A must-have album in anyone's collection.
Absolutely.
Now, we're only in it for the money. Zappa, which was a parody of Sgt. Pepper's.
And
another absolute class album. Pure. Like, what can you say about Zappa?
Yeah. And Jimi Hendrix is on the cover there when they filmed that whole thing.
Right, yeah. That's right, he was. Now, this is one people might not... it's Frank Zappa's solo album. It's not with the Mothers. Lumpy Gravy. Same year again, he brought out this. It's a hard album to get into. I think it's a must-have album. Absolutely class. The Doors' first album. You know what I mean?
Another one.
Some people say they never bettered that album. Like, that is
pure. You can make that argument for sure.
You can make that argument as well.
Well, they came out of nowhere with that, and it was just, again.
But not only did they have one album out in 67, they had 2.
Yeah.
Strange Days. Like,
When the Music's Over, I love that song.
Yeah. Bands nowadays might make one album in every 5 years. These bands were bringing them out like every year or possibly 2 a year. And you've already mentioned this
because the songs were all good.
Yeah. You've already mentioned that. Disraeli Gears. You've already mentioned Sgt. Pepper's. Like one of the most influential albums of all time in rock music. I have A Hard Road by John Mayall. Peter Green from Fleetwood Mac is on this, who went on to form Fleetwood Mac. Absolutely a stellar work. Now, Jimi Hendrix brought out 2 albums that year, and this is just Axis Bold's Love. Like, he brought out this and then this. Like, and he's a genius, an absolute genius. That's my albums from 67.
Wow, that's awesome.
1968. We're moving on up now.
Again, I believe this is 68. I didn't look it up, so I'm just going by memory. It might be early 69, but I'm going to say 68. Another San Francisco band that I absolutely love because Jefferson Airplane. Once I got that focus, I was into all of it. And Country Joe and the Fish. Now, more famous for Woodstock with the Fish cheer, give me an F, and give me Country Joe McDonald. But this is a really good psychedelic album. The album with the The Fish Cheer and Feel Like I'm Fixing to Die was almost like a jug band album. They were really a different band then, but this they got really psychedelic, electric. It's called the Electric Music for the Mind and Body. Fantastic record. I might be wrong on the date. If I am, I apologize. But again, essential album for me. If you're that whole 60s
It's a must-have
scene.
in your collection, yeah.
Yeah. I think the trippiest album ever made, the Moody Blues, and one of the great covers of all time, In Search of the Lost Chord. It's the whole thing's a trip, and they talk about Timothy Leary, the big acid guru. Timothy Leary's dead, and that's all this sitar interweaved in it, and it's real. Just in the, it goes through a whole journey. It's just a fantastic record. It has such a
tripping album. Is that what you call it? Tripping.
Absolutely love this album.
I'll be smoking a bit of
Oh yeah, that's like yeah. You don't even have to smoke. That smokes the joint for you, Pat.
I could imagine so. Fucking yeah.
And My Girl and another San Francisco band, which I think is one of the great albums from the 60s, Big Brother and the Holding Company, Cheap Thrills.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that again.
Piece of My Heart was the big hit off of this album. Big Brother, real heavy, psychedelic guitar. And Janice's amazing blues vocals. It has Ball and Chain on it, which was really put her to superstardom when she sang that at Monterey Pop Festival in '67. But too bad she didn't stick with Big Brother longer, because I think they would have put out some great albums.
Okay.
I got how many more from '68? Oh, I still got 3. I'm rocking '68 here, Pat.
Go on, Fly. You give it a lash.
The father of Led Zeppelin, Jeff Beck's Truth album.
Yes.
Some of the songs that showed up on the first Zeppelin album are on this.
That's right, Jeff.
Beck's Bolero was used in the middle of How Many More Times. Rod Stewart, Ron Wood on bass, Rod Stewart on vocals. I saw this band in 1968 in a small club in Toronto called the Electric Circus. There couldn't have been more than 200 people there. Incredible. This is 68's the year I really started going to a lot of concerts. So Jeff Beck Truth, really important album as far as I'm concerned. If you're into Zeppelin, you got it. Van Morrison, Brown Eyed Girl. Then he comes out with the next album he comes out with, Blowing Your Mind. I bought this because I liked it, stuff. I had no idea. Astro Weeks, and it's a total change. He comes in with all these acoustic jazz musicians and plays all these great introspective songs, beautiful songs like Ballerina and Astro Weeks and Madame George. One of the great albums of all time, in my opinion. Astro Weeks, Van Morrison, another game changer. And I saw Van at Massey Hall that year touring this album.
Not a fan of him at all now, Glenn, even though he's Irish.
And one more from '68, the incredible Johnny Winter, one of my favorite guitar players of all time. And this is, if you like guitar, this is an album you have to have, the Progressive Blues Experiment. Fantastic album.
Frank Zappa thought he was one of the greatest guitarists.
The one thing about the 60s is that in around 68, 69, we started to get underground FM radio where they just played deep cuts. You never had, and it was not formatted at all like AM radio. The DJs could play whatever they wanted, 24 hours a day. And that's what really turned music from 45s into albums, really, like that whole period there. And then people just started listening to
I can get you now,
They weren't so hung up on having a single. And I heard It's My Own Fault, Darling on this album on underground radio, and bought it, and saw Johnny Winter at Massey Hall as well with his brother Edgar in the band, and fantastic stuff. That's my 68. I'm tired.
Brilliant. Right, my 68. Electric Ladyland. Pure class. Pure class. What more can one say about that? The Bob Dylan track, All Along the Watchtower, sure, it's brilliant. My favorite Beatles album, the White Album.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, Helter Skelter on this, like, it's nearly heavy metal, isn't it? You know,
Incredible. So different for them.
so different in '68. The Doors, Waiting for the Sun.
Yeah.
Not a must-have album. Absolutely, but they were around for a short time, the Doors, but they brought out some amazing albums. And of course, you had the debut album from the great Jethro Tull.
Yes.
This was with Mick Abrahams on guitar.
Should have played that. Yes.
Yeah, just an absolute classic.
Yeah.
You know, and they were go on to much better things. But what a brilliant debut! Now we have John Mayall again, Bare Wires. Another classic album. You know, brilliant again. Absolutely brilliant. And another, he had a solo album out that year with Mick Taylor on it. Blues from Laurel Canyon, where he ended up living.
Oh, yeah,
California.
yeah. Yeah, he ended up hanging out there.
It is exactly. And then we have this. You might be surprised with this one. I think this is '68. I think it is, and I think you're going to be very surprised. Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan.
Ooh, 69, I think, but close enough. It's somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think it is around that, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I have it written down. It's actually 69, that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went ahead of myself. That is 69.
Wow, that's some great pick.
So I'm going to continue
changing everything. I mean,
I'm going to leave. What I'll do is I'm going to leave you finish on 69. I'm going to continue on because that's my 69. I have a few more to go. The Doors again, Soft Parade. I have a few LPs to show now. Soft Parade. My daughter bought me this on my birthday.
You know, all the whole Doors catalog is essential. Every album.
Then, of course, you had Hot Rats. One of his greatest albums. Would you agree? One of the greatest. Blind Fate, supergroup. Ginger Baker on drums. Yeah, just one album. But absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were murder over this because there was only a young girl on the cover of the album.
I know, it was kind of tasteless.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able
to bring that. We didn't get that cover over here. We got another cover.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. Abbey Road.
A lot of people's favorite.
What an album. Yeah, what an album. Absolutely brilliant. Couple more to go now. Santana's debut album.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what an album.
Went from virtually unknown to superstars from Woodstock.
Woodstock, absolutely. Jethro Tull's second album. Stand Up. Do you have this book set? You do?
I do.
It's fabulous, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
They're absolutely brilliant.
Tull albums.
Yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Just 3 more to go now, Glenn, and you can get on to 69. Led Zeppelin formed in 68 and recorded the album in 68 and brought it out in early 69, their debut album, and followed up the same year with Led Zeppelin 2.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest is history after that, isn't it?
Oh.
Now, I know they were influenced by a lot of blues bands and Jeff Beck Truth, but they were heavy, though. They were quite heavy. And if I was going to pick the best album of the 60s, it's my last album. And I think this is the best album.
I know what you're going to say.
You know what it is.
I'm pretty sure I know what it is. Yeah.
You know what it is. To me, that is the daddy of prog, as I call it.
That's my second favorite album of all time, so I would probably have to pick it as my favorite album of the 60s.
Isn't it amazing? Unbelievable.
Yes.
I know I jumped ahead to 69, but I'm going to leave you as my guest.
Oh, my God. Okay, I want to make a couple of points. First of all, Zappa lot. I was too young. Like, I was 16 years old in 1969, and Hot Rats was so over my head. Like, I just lost it with Zappa. After,
because it's jazz fusion, really, isn't it? Basically,
after Absolutely Free, actually, I didn't pay much attention to him until he started bringing out like Overnight Sensation and Apostrophe. And they were right in my wheelhouse, and then I kind of got more of a Zappa bug for a second time.
But that lineup, that you're talking about in the 70s with Overnight Sensation, Apostrophe, One Size Fits All, that was some lineup he had.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah.
Incredible.
So, and I didn't pull Blind Faith, which is a mistake I made because great album, and I saw them on that tour.
Did you?
Yeah, and Blind Faith, Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, and Taste with Rory Gallagher, triple bill.
Jeez.
Incredible. One of my favorite concert experiences of my whole life.
That's amazing.
And you mentioned Electric Ladyland. I didn't pull it. I could have, but I saw Jimi Hendrix in 1969 as well. So, it's a big year for me. Tons of good concerts. And I'll show this one first because I saw these guys in 1969 in a theater that held about 2,000 people, and that would be Led Zeppelin.
You were saying that before, yeah. What were they like now at that early stage?
They were great. It was awesome. They just rocked. They were fantastic. It was great. In such a small venue to see them in, it was so good.
Fantastic.
This album I bought when I saw it in the record store sitting on the shelf when it first came out, and I looked at it and I went, Led Zeppelin, what a cool name and what a great cover. And then you turn over the album and you see these guys who I thought were so cool looking at the time because it was all about how long their hair was and everything. And I brought this home and put it on, and it just
blew you away.
I still get chills thinking about hearing it.
Yeah, it's a brilliant debut album. One of the best, actually. Yeah,
brilliant. Amazing. And Zeppelin 2 came out actually the same week that I saw them. I think I saw them in November of '69, and Zeppelin 2 had just come out a couple of weeks before that. So most of their show was heavy on the first album. But they did the whole thing with the bow, Jimi Hendrix or Jimmy Page with the and did the bow. Oh man!
Oh yeah. He was doing that a lot. Yeah.
I'll just show this now because you showed it in the Court of the Crimson King.
Did you ever see them play?
I didn't see them back then at all. I didn't see them until a few years ago, actually, live. But this album was again just unbelievable, so different from anything else. As soon as you heard 21st Century Schizoid Man what is this? And I had a buddy who was into he was into this right away, and he introduced me to this album, and he drove around in a sports car, and he had this souped up sound system, and it was probably an 8-track at the time. I don't know if it was a cassette at that time or not, but he would just take me in the car, and we'd smoke a big fatty and put this on full blast, just like, oh my God.
Brilliant.
Incredible. Brilliant. Neil Young. Everybody knows this is Nowhere. With Down by the River and Cowgirl in the Sand. Cinnamon Girl. Neil Young and Crazy Horse.
Is that his first album, Glenn? Is that his first?
His second album. His first album is just called Neil Young. It was more of acoustic-y kind of album, but this one brought in all the electric guitars. And
not familiar with him at all, actually.
So good. Another album that came out of nowhere and is just so different because it had all the horns and everything. It was just such a different album. Was the Chicago Transit Authority album? I mean, this was just like mind-blowing good for its time, 1969. Incredible.
They had to change their name too, didn't they?
The Chicago Transit Authority was going to sue them if they didn't change their name. Yeah. Now, I could have showed music from Big Pink, which I think was a more influential album than this, but the band, the second album, the Brown album, is my favorite album, and I think the most essential album if anybody was just looking for one album from the band. But like they drove Old Dixie Down, Up on Cripple Creek. I mean, just this is just a fabulous record. And they were so different than everybody else. Everybody else is playing electric guitars and Hendrix and all this, and the band comes out and does all these kind of, I don't know how to describe it, Americana, they call it nowadays, but just so different.
Yeah, acoustic sense, folky maybe.
What else have I got? Last one, Sly and the Family Stone.
You like them, don't you?
Yeah. This Stand. What a great album. There's an instrumental on this called Sex Machine. It's about 8 minutes long. Just fantastic guitar.
I know the song, yeah.
they could put on a show. I mean, these guys are amazing. You just watch them at Woodstock and see how.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them at Woodstock.
Yeah, I mean, incredible.
Absolutely
So
brilliant.
that's it for 69. Wow.
That's amazing collection.
I get excited.
Yeah, I know you do. And the fact that you've seen them all or most of them live, and did you ever see the Beatles live? I forgot to ask you that.
No, I missed the Beatles. I could have gone in 66. There was 64 and 65 sold out so fast. And I would have needed my mom's help to try and get tickets. And I was like 11, 12, but I was in 66 and could have gone and should have gone because tickets were readily available. They were starting to lose it on the tour at that point. People were starting to get, sick of it. But I always thought like, who knew what the Beatles were going to, they were going to go in the studio and come out with Revolver and Sgt. Pepper. Like, no one knew they were going to grow like that. Yeah. So you just assumed they were coming next year too, But
they didn't play live after that, did they? They did play live.
I wish that's the only regret I have for live concerts is I didn't see the Beatles. But.
Okay. Well, Glenn, it was a pleasure having you on. And I really enjoyed doing this video. And Glenn, just to let my subscribe, Glenn has a fantastic channel over there, Glen Kellaway from the Basement. He does a video every day. And I'm going to leave a link in the description. And if you like what you see, go over there and have a look at him. If you like it, subscribe to him. That's all I ask. And he does a great job over there. Different than my channel. We all do different things differently, but I love his channel. And I love his friend over there as well, Larry Graves has another great channel over there. And Robert's on my turntable. I like Robert as well. Robert is fantastic, isn't he? And Alex Bierenheim, another brilliant channel. Yeah. You're all neighbors. Yeah, they're all brilliant. Yeah. But anyway, Glenn, as I said, it's nice to have you on. And I just want to say to everyone who's watching, it's nice to be nice. Isn't it nice to be nice, Glenn?
It is.
Nice to be nice. Also, whatever you're doing, stay safe. That's the most important thing. And from Glenn and myself here on Close the Edge, until the next time, have a nice day. And whatever you're doing,
do it right. It's the 60s, man.
Yeah. Peace.